Good morning, people. It's Monday. So as some of you probably know, I'm quite a bit of a gamer, and I have a big soft spot for a good strategy game. I've been playing them since I was 5, maybe. I honestly don't remember when I first started playing them. My dad introduced me to them when I was really young. So today, I am going to explain the early history of the real-time strategy genre in less than 3 minutes. And when I say early history, I mean from 1981 to 2001, which I like to call the Westwood era. At some point in the future, I may do a video on '01 to the present, but I don't really have time for that in 3 minutes. So the first strategy video game ever was a game called Utopia. It was released in 1981 for the Intellivision. Its gameplay is considered way ahead of its time, and it's often compared with the modern Civilization series, which are quite good. Now, the first strategy game as we know it was a game called Dune 2, which was based on the movie adaptation of Frank Herbert's Dune book series. It was developed by Westwood Studios, who were the absolute kings of the strategy games until they were bought out by EA in 1998. The company is most famous for the Command and Conquer series, and most of its interface is based on Dune 2 here. It was also the first Westwood game to ever use the composer Frank Klepacki's work for background music, which they consistently used for the next 10 years. Yeah, I'm a bit of a Klepacki fan, mostly for nostalgia reasons, but it's actually pretty good. Another really big name in the RTS genre is Blizzard Entertainment. Their first RTS game, Warcraft: Orcs and Humans, was released in '94 and would eventually spawn the popular MMO game World of Warcraft. Warcraft 1 expanded on a lot of what Dune 2 had laid out, with new mission types and goals adding depth and replayability to the game. Now coming back to Westwood Studios for one of the first really big names that I actually recognized when doing research for this video, which is Command & Conquer Tiberian Dawn. Tiberian Dawn also built a lot on the groundwork laid by Dune 2, and also started a few traditions through the Westwood games, such as the live-action cutscenes between missions, and the character Kane, played by Joseph Duncan, who was a big mainstay of the Command & Conquer games for years. In 1997, Ensemble Studios created Age of Empires, which is based on historic events and beloved by homeschoolers everywhere. AOE introduced the idea of researching upgrades from specific buildings rather than having tech come when a building was completed. That same year, developer Cavedog Entertainment released the game Total Annihilation, which is known for its unique resource system and for having several very awesome spiritual successors in the form of Supreme Commander and the currently in development Planetary Annihilation, both of which have members of the original development team on board. In 1998, Westwood made an updated re-release of Dune 2 called Dune 2000, and Blizzard released the extremely popular StarCraft games, which are one of the most famous strategy games of all time. 1998 is a big year for the strategy genre. Ensemble Studios released Age of Empires 2, which is my personal favorite one, just saying. Westwood released their sequel to Tiberian Dawn, Tiberian Sun, which was also quite good, and Relic Entertainment made its debut on the RTS stage with the amazing Homeworld. Homeworld was the first and, near as I can tell, the only truly three-dimensional RTS game, allowing you to control fleets of starships which can move in new and fascinating directions such as up and down. Most other games take place on a two-dimensional plane. And It is probably the game of choice for anyone who wants to do an Ender Wiggin impersonation. In 2001, Westwood released Red Alert 2. Red Alert 2 is one of my favorite RTS games ever, along with the aforementioned Age of Empires 2 and Homeworld. This is generally the place in the series where things started getting a little silly, though. Either that or the expansion Yuri's Revenge, released the next year, featuring a new faction that can be summed up as Evil Genius Gimmick Faction. Also released that year was the popular Nintendo game Pikmin and Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds, which used the same engine as Age of Empires 2, and in fact plays exactly the same as Age of Empires 2 except with Star Wars, which is pretty good though. Now, right around here, right that very year, is when I generally consider the early stage of the genre to end. A few years later, EA bought out Westwood and began slowly driving the series into the ground. I'm not bitter. What are you talking about? I'm not upset at all that they bought out some of my favorite IPs and killed them mercilessly. And this is where I generally consider the early stages of the genre to have ended. After EA had bought out Westwood and killed it, Relic took its place as the absolute king of the real-time strategy genre. I mentioned Relic earlier when they released Homeworld, which is, as I said, really awesome. They're also well known in more recent times for making the Company of Heroes game series, which is a World War II strategy game, and Dawn of War, which is the sci-fi strategy game, which is full of awesome. Thus ends the first era in the history of the real-time strategy genre. I will probably at some point in the future make another video about the history of the genre from '01 to the present, but I don't have time for all of that. To any random people throughout the internet who stumble across this video while looking for cat videos or somewhat, thank you. Thank you very much for watching. I apologize for my weirdness. For those of you in my film class, hi guys. Thank you for watching. I will see y'all on Monday. Until then, stay awesome.